Hey guys, this time on Deep Junk, I'm going to change things up a little. We don't have a 64 scale die cast for you this week. It is a 25th scale model car. This 70 Barracuda, well, Hemi Cuda, I should say, I built a few years ago. I'd built models, since I was a little kid. I think my first one was a snap together Opel GT, and that was probably 8 years old, maybe 7, but I've been building ever since. But there was a time a few years back when I'd started a business. I hadn't things that big changes going on. I hadn't been building any. I didn't have any model cars. I in a new building with where the business was an efficiency apartment. I worked 6 days a week, half a day on Saturday, and then at night, though, instead of watching television, I decided I had to get something to do. Met my now wife, and we were out in I think it was Discount Drug Mart, and I'd seen they had model cars. And, that's perfect. I'll just pick up a model car and work on one. So I bought the 70 Hemi Cuda. The blue that's on this is the blue that was there in an aerosol can. I picked something that was close to B5 blue. I bought paints, had no paints. I had, there's my laundry's done. I had no paint, no glue, so I bought all that stuff, some halfway decent brushes, and took it back to the shop with me, and it was a nightly project for a while. Now, I didn't go nuts with wires and brake lines and fuel lines and stuff like that like I used to. So I just put the car together, and except for the tires, this car is a factory. It's a box stock. The tires I got ordered some polyglass white letters for it, and it is. Take the hood off. I'm not really set up for doing these. Like I said, everything's out of the box. I geeked out on this a little bit. You can see the front of the valve cover. There's a chalk mark on there, a number 65. I tend to like when I'm doing a car restoration, you go back to school and researching chalk marks and what they mean, what assembly plant used what and where and when, why they used it. This car, just like my restorations, though, is overdone. The bottom is all painted. It would have, from Chrysler, would have paint blown under there. This was completely painted, this color of the car. We've got, I'll sit like that. The lower control arms in the gold. It's not the correct anodized color. Hemi engine in orange, naturally. Pretty much what a Chrysler, what a Plymouth would have come painted up as. I've tried to at least get close to the right colors. And two, back there on the differential, there's markings on the pumpkin back there. You can see side of the transmission on this side. I geeked out, and there's some of the markings there. So it is the can paint testers. I can't even remember what it was, but it's their stuff. Out of the can, it does have a clear lacquer over it. The white interior is white with a dull coat over it. Hemi engine orange. The grill. This model had two. You could put it together with the twin scoop hood or the shaker. I chose the shaker. The grills is just an argent color in there. We've got road lights on it. Interesting story. This car was sitting in my office. Now, when I met my my now wife, we would I would leave the shop at Saturday around noon when I'd close up, and then I'd spend the rest of the weekend with her, come back on Monday morning, and sometime between Saturday afternoon and Monday morning, the front fender got scratched up here on the top, right about where the battery is, across the fender, and nobody knew a thing. Now there's one other guy that could have been in the shop, my partner, and if he had people in there, so it might have been a handful of people, but nobody knew a thing. Just mysteriously got scratched. So I thought, well, this thing is screwed. There's no way I'm going to be able to fix the paint. I'm going to take it apart and to fix it. Then I thought, well, I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? I'll just try it. I wet sanded the top of the fender out to the body line out here, and then masked it off and shot the top of the fender, and then cleared it, and then color sanded and buffed it. And I wish I could do that kind of work all the time. Maybe I was living right back then, I don't know. But it turned out pretty good. The car's not without little flaws. These models, some of them are really, the qualities, yes and no on them. You do have to test fit parts a lot. Back here, the exhaust tips don't come out far enough through that roll pan, and you wouldn't know that unless you've either built one or had tested it up like that. I hadn't done any fitting on those, and they fit too far back in. You know, what are you gonna do? But all in all, to get back into it, it got my feet wet, and it's been sitting in a box like the 64 scale cars, guys. It sits in a box. It's not doing anything. I am done with it, and then sits, and it's on to the next one. If you like these, the model cars, 25th scale, you know, let me know down below, and we can look at another one later. I've got a handful of them that I put together since, probably 10 of them or so, and we can take a look at them, and if not, then put that down below too. Let's see. Also the hood there, the shaker decal on the hood. So everything was just box stock. And like I said, like the cars, when I restore one, it's usually overdone. Each piece is its own little project. But it kept me from pulling my hair out watching TV at night, guys. Alrighty. Hey, thanks for checking in. Like I said, if you dig the model car, if you dig that scale, that kind of stuff, put it down below, and maybe we can do one, or as maybe a separate video, put out along with the 64 scale. Thanks again, guys, for checking in, and I will see you in the next one.